So that was Lenny Alvarez Yanga last night at the Raising Our Voices conference in our diaspora musical journey that they took us on. He did an amazing job. He's an Afro-Honduran singer, much talent on that stage with him, Rondell Mitchell, and Nadelka Prescott. And the musicians were amazing. Young brothers from Berkeley. Their band is called Truth. So you should check them out. They're going to be at Berkeley on October 4th. Latest headlines. Boston's in the headlines. You know why Boston's in the headlines?
No.
Boston's in the headlines because a Boston cop is probed in a violent encounter with a female transit rider.
Yes, I did see that video.
A Boston transit cop has been reassigned to administrative duty following a brutal encounter with a passenger. And it says that the video shows the unarmed transit officer raising his baton and repeatedly striking the woman, who also is not named in the incident that occurred Friday aboard the Route 15 MBTA bus in a mostly black Roxbury section of the city, the report says. After the baton strikes, the officer appears to push the woman into a seat in the back of the bus before she lunges back at him in a chaotic scene. Now, as someone who takes the 15 bus, it can get bad. But the fact that this got that physical, someone wrote, he ran up to her and began barking in her face. Brown told the Globe in a telephone interview Saturday. He didn't do anything to de-escalate the situation or calm her down. He escalated the situation.
So they always said baton? Because he had the video I saw, he had his gun out.
Yeah, they were saying the baton. Transit police told the Globe that the officer confronted the woman after a vendor in the MBTA's Dudley Square station accused her of theft.
We could actually play the video. I'll get it for you. We can play it briefly, but he had his gun out. He had his gun.
Yeah.
He took his gun out of his holster, and he was ready. He was pointed right at her.
So with the full bus, with probably kids on the bus. Right. It was in the afternoon because everyone was hearing about it, throughout the day.
But
so
the problem I have as a media company, right, is why they're saying his baton. Why are they leaving the gun out?
Yeah. Why aren't they giving us the entire story?
Right. Okay. Right. Sorry.
Okay. So what else is in the news? Emmy nominations. It's saying a lot of black nominations.
Yes.
You have Viola Davis and Taraji are nominated as best females for Why the Murder Show and for Empire. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. Then what else are we seeing? I think the Boston thing was my primary thing. Like what is that about? Here it is, a pretty violent scene, and what happens there. So going back to the conference, and one of the things that came up in the conference was the issue of violence that we are facing, and how speaking up. You want to speak up, but you run the risk of when you're speaking up, and then when you want to speak up, when you're in the right to speak up, like someone shared an incident that they had, when you're in the right to speak up, but you know that anything you say in that moment is going to make that person more upset. Right. So you're better off just not saying anything and just praying to get out of the situation, which is what we tend to have to do because we don't know how that person that's in front of us is going to really react. Yeah. So the conference ended, like I shared, and how I started with this wonderful musical tribute, everyone coming together, um, around raising our voices, around our identity, around community, and resisting to be boxed in, refusing to be silenced, refusing to do things the way people want us to do it just to make them comfortable and make us uncomfortable.
Right.
And we are okay with making them uncomfortable if we are speaking our truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the conference took us. And what better way to go from head to heart to feet, because the music made you want to move your feet and dance around a little. Another song that they sang, and I think I'm gonna try to get to it now, was the three singers came together and sang, which is like an anthem. So, I mean, that's like your classic, diaspora song. Your classic, I mean, it's not just for the African diaspora, it's for the world. If we were a lot more willing to love than hate, we would see each other in a better light. One of the things that I wrote today, and I'll read, as I thank, we want to, thank all our sponsors, all our collaborators, all the young leaders, as I shared, Gwendolyn, who was our lead planner, Naheem, MC host, Rosa Clemente, our keynote speaker on Friday, Natural Bliss, E-Rock. E-Rock also is our photographer. You will be seeing more pictures from him in the next few days. Professor Jennings, Professor Kamara, Robin, who else? Lenny, Nadelka, Naheem, Rondell, the band Truth, Daryl for the food, all the young people that helped us at the door and, help folks sign in, the students. And one of the things that I wrote, other than starting with Dr. Swan's quote, is that we wanted to create a space that allowed us to make a deeper connection to self and within our community. Raising our voices was Encuentro Diaspora Afro's way of raising a collective voice on identity, community, and resistance. It was a way to highlight the common Afro-descendant experience. It was our way to honor the voices of our young leaders, the light of our ancestors. It was our way to raise the voices of truth as Afro-Latinos. The conference did that and more. And thank you, gracias, for those who came out and shared the space with us. Thank you, gracias, for all those who helped pull this together. Afro-Latinos, an extended hug of peace and light and love to you as we stand up and raise our voices and have our voices heard, embracing our identity, our full identity, not denying any part of who we are, and loving every part of who we are, loving the texture of our hair, loving the color of our skin, loving the language that we speak, the country that we are from. And the more and more I understand that, the more and more I fall in love with the fact that I am a Black woman in this world. And I honor the Queen, and I honor the crown that I was born with, and not willing to bow my head down for anyone who does not see me in such light. So for this Soulful Afro show with so much soul today, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always coming back. And we will see you next week on the show once again. And I'm going to close with the song that I just cannot seem to stop singing today.
Yes. Yeah,
So I just love this song, Mali music, beautiful.
That's nice.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Say yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say yeah, 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 yeah. Can you mind me here for us? Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Say yeah, 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 yeah. Say yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, once again, next week, same time, same place. You can also visit Soulful Afro page on AfricanRadioOnline.com. Have a great evening.